ever wondered why some men stay on a woman's mind long after they've disappeared? Why she keeps checking her phone, scanning her timeline, and replaying old conversations, even if she was the one who walked away? The truth is, getting a woman to miss you isn't about manipulation. It's about psychology. It's about becoming a presence she can't replace and an experience she can't recreate. Most men chase, most men text, call, explain, beg. But that doesn't make her miss you. It makes her comfortable. And comfort kills attraction. When someone is always available, the brain no longer registers their absence. There's no void, there's no mystery, no story left unfinished. But when you master the art of presence and withdrawal, when you become someone whose silence speaks louder than their words, you tap into something primal, a craving, a mental loop she can't seem to close. And that loop keeps you alive in her mind long after the messages stop. So if you wanted to crave you, think about you, even obsess over you. It starts by understanding the emotional switches in her mind that few men know how to activate. In this video, you're going to learn exactly how to do that. These aren't just tips, they are tools. Tools that work whether you're in a relationship, going through a breakup, or just talking to someone new. So listen carefully. These are the 7 ways to make her miss you without saying a single word. Number 1, the power of silence. Let's start with the simplest yet most powerful move you can make. Silence. Not texting her, not checking in, not watching her story, nothing. Because the moment you go silent, her mind gets loud. There's a psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik effect. It says that people remember incomplete tasks better than completed ones. In relationships, silence feels like an unresolved task. She starts asking herself, did he move on? Did I mess up? Why isn't he reaching out? And her brain starts filling in the blanks. One guy I knew went completely silent after his girlfriend broke things off. He didn't block her, didn't post anything, just vanished. 2 weeks later, she messaged him. I keep thinking about you. The silence is driving me crazy. That's the power of psychological tension. She had nothing new from him, so a mind had no choice but to replay old memories. And it gets deeper. Studies in neuroscience show that romantic rejection activates the same brain pathways as addiction. The same dopamine circuits that fire during a high-stakes poker win or a drug rush are triggered by the emotional uncertainty of being left behind. Silence feels like rejection, and rejection ironically creates obsession. If you think going silent is weak or passive, think again. It's the most active way to take control of her emotional focus. It removes the noise and forces her to feel the absence. And the mind doesn't like absence. It fills it with desire. But silence alone isn't enough. If she's going to miss you, she has to see that you're not just disappearing. You're evolving. Number 2, strategic presence. After silence, the second most powerful tool you have is presence, but not the kind she expects. Strategic presence is about showing your growth without chasing her attention. It's about becoming the man she always hoped you would be, just not with her. Imagine this. She logs onto Instagram, expecting your usual memes or boring photos, but instead, she sees a post of you suited up at a wedding, or maybe you're at a new restaurant, laughing with friends. Maybe you're at the gym, no caption, just progress. It doesn't scream, look at me. It whispers, I'm doing fine. This kind of presence triggers a different reaction. It taps into what psychologists call FOMO, fear of missing out. And in relationships, FOMO is emotional scarcity. She's not just seeing you move on, she's watching you level up without her. That feeling stings, but be careful. Too much posting looks desperate. Think of social media like seasoning. You use just enough to add flavor, not so much that it overpowers the dish. The goal isn't to prove anything, it's to let her wonder, Why does he look better? Who took that photo? Why does he seem happier? A friend of mine once posted a simple photo, him holding a dog he just adopted. The caption was, "New chapter." No mention of her, no cryptic quotes, just growth. She texted him that night, "I miss you." That's how you win without saying a word. But the moment she senses she's losing emotional ground, she'll shift tactics. She'll bait you for attention, and that's when your next move becomes crucial. Number 3, starve her of validation. She's losing control, and she feels it. So what does she do? She starts testing the waters. A late night selfie with a suggestive caption. A story that just so happens to mirror your favorite movie quote. A post of her out with the girls, looking like she's trying too hard. You know it's bait, but what you do next decides everything. See, validation is a drug, and most women, especially after they've lost emotional leverage, will crave a hit of it. When you double tap her picture or reply with fire, you're not just reacting, you're surrendering power. You're telling her, "You still have me," and the game resets. Here's a better approach. Be a ghost. Let her post. Let her caption. Let her wonder. The moment she realizes you're not one of those likes, not one of those story views, she spirals, she refreshes, she checks again. Did he see it? Why hasn't he liked it? There's a psychological principle called intermittent reinforcement. It's what makes slot machines addictive. People don't get rewarded every time. They get rewarded unpredictably. And when they do, it's euphoric. When you starve her of validation, then maybe just once, you reply to something completely unrelated, it hits 10 times harder. But here's the catch. You can't fake it. You have to genuinely be indifferent. That's what makes it believable. That's what makes it burn. And when she realizes her go-to tricks don't work anymore, she'll start reaching out more directly. She'll test the waters for real. And when that happens, that's when you have to keep your cool. Number 4, stay calm, stay vague. When a bait doesn't work, she takes a deeper step. She texts you. Maybe it's subtle. "Hey, how have you been?" Or maybe it's masked as casual. "Just saw something that reminded me of you." But make no mistake, this isn't just a message, it's a probe. She wants to see if she still has a place in your life. Here's where 99% of men mess up. They respond too fast, too excited, and too openly. It's like releasing months of restraint in a single reply. And just like that, the mystery dies. The illusion that you've moved on, gone, the emotional leverage, lost. You have to understand the psychology at play here. She's not just curious, she's testing. If you reply instantly with heart emojis and long-winded messages, you're confirming her suspicion. You are just waiting, and no woman misses the man who waited. She misses the man who walked away. So, what do? You pause, you take your time, and when you do reply, you keep it cordial but vague. A simple "Hey, good to hear from you. I've been keeping busy" is enough. You're not being rude. You're not being distant. You're just being strong. One guy told me he waited 2 days to respond to his ex's message. When he finally did, all he said was, "Hope all's well. Been focused on some new projects." No emojis, no questions, just calm energy. She texted back twice in the same hour. Remember, mystery creates motion. If she feels like she knows exactly what's going on with you, there's no tension. But if you're calm, hard to read, and not giving her everything up front, she leans in. She texts more. She tries harder. That's when you can shift the dynamic completely. And if you want to hit her emotionally, really stir something inside, it's time to bring in the secret weapon, jealousy. Number 5, emotional jealousy. Jealousy is a force most people underestimate. It doesn't just make her curious, it makes her compete. And the moment she starts competing for your attention, she's emotionally reinvested. But here's the twist. You don't create jealousy by being obvious. You create it by being intentional. Post a photo at brunch. Let a woman's arm be barely visible holding a drink across from you. Share a story with background laughter and let her wonder whose voice that was. Mention, had an interesting conversation last night, and don't say with whom. The brain hates ambiguity. When a woman sees clues but no answers, she fills in the gaps, and her mind always imagines the worst, or in this case, the most emotionally charged. That's how jealousy works. It builds on imagination, not proof. One guy I know posted a book he was reading called Attached, a book on relationship styles. He added a caption, "Learning a lot lately. No other details." His ex messaged him 2 hours later. "Who are you reading that for?" That's jealousy triggered by context, not content. You're not being toxic, you're being strategic. Because when she feels like you're desired by others, her attraction to you spikes. This is known as the mate value theory in evolutionary psychology. The more others desire you, the more valuable you appear, especially to someone who once had you. But if you want to stay in her mind during random moments of the day, you need more than jealousy. You need a mental anchor. Number 6, nicknames and triggers. Memories don't just live in our minds, they live in our senses. A scent, a sound, a word. And one of the strongest anchors you can create is a nickname. Not just any nickname, but one that's emotionally tied to something she loves, something funny, or something meaningful between you two. Let's say she loved late night tacos. Call her Taco Queen. Or maybe she always wore red lipstick. Call her Cherry. These might sound silly, but they stick. Why? Because they're tied to a specific emotionally charged moment. And the brain is wired to recall people when reminded of those emotional peaks. Here's what makes it powerful. The next time she orders tacos, sees cherries at the store, or hears someone else say the name Cherry, her brain will fire a memory of you. That's associative memory, and it's one of the strongest emotional tools you can use. I know a guy who called his girl Sunbeam because she used to squint whenever she walked outside. After they broke up, she told a mutual friend she couldn't hear the word sunbeam without getting emotional. That's the impact of emotional tagging. The nickname doesn't have to be deep. It just has to be real, authentic, yours, something no other man gave her. But if you really want to become unforgettable, there's one final step. Teach her something she'll never forget. Number 7, teach her something. There's a reason people remember teachers, not just the ones in classrooms, but the people who help them grow, shift their thinking, or see something new in themselves. When you teach a woman something she didn't know before, especially something that improves her life, you become embedded in her memory. It could be anything. Maybe you taught her how to cook that spicy pasta she always loved. Or maybe you explained how credit scores work and helped her fix hers. Maybe you introduced her to a mindset book like The 4 Agreements that shifted her entire outlook. And here's what makes it powerful. Every time she uses that skill, repeats that fact, or passes that knowledge to someone else, she remembers who gave it to her. That's legacy. That's emotional imprinting. And it's a form of emotional intimacy that no amount of compliments or dates can compete with. She can date someone else. She can block you, but she'll never unlearn what you taught her. In conclusion, making a woman miss you isn't about tricks. It's not about faking who you are or trying to manipulate her feelings. It's about becoming the kind of man who's so deeply rooted in purpose, confidence, and growth that his absence speaks louder than his presence. Psychologists say we don't miss people. We miss how they made us feel. So if you've made her feel valued, challenged, excited, desired, safe, and seen, those feelings don't vanish when you walk away. They echo. And if you stay strong, stay patient, and stay focused, she'll come back not because you begged, but because she couldn't help herself.